to Functional Therapy's Movement Library. We're going to share with you next a dynamic mobilization for the lower extremity, and then I'll show you a progression of how to bring the hands into the success of the lower extremity to make it a total body dynamic mobilization. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So I'm going to get into the technical side as simple as I possibly can to ensure that you understand the how to as opposed to just doing. So we're going to start off with my hands on my pelvis, and I'm going to use my foot as the driver, and we're going to move into what we have determined to be common planes, common to us as humans. In future video clips, we'll show you some uncommon planes. It just so happens that we oftentimes move more anterior, more same-side lateral, and same-side rotational as the opposite. But we will share those in upcoming videos. So for now, I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to move along an anterior plane at a slow to moderate speed, alternating right to left. The key to this is making sure that my foot stays flat on the floor and the heel never pops up. You should not feel your foot sliding through your sneaker and your heel popping up. Each time I move through this mobilization, I go out, horizontally speaking, a little bit farther. You'll notice my rear leg stays nice and straight. If the rear leg starts to turn, you've gone too far. So after the anterior plane, we're now going to move into the lateral plane. I'm going to take my right foot and simply go out to the side. Nice and slow, get nice and deep relative to your individuality. You'll notice that my feet come together and then in the same plane they move apart. Being a clinician for the last 20 years, one of the most common compensations I see is a person moving out laterally. They flex that left knee and they move into more of a sumo kind of squat, if you will. What we're looking to do is to move out along this plane and get a mobilization of the groin on the left side in this case, and sometimes you'll even feel it on the back side of the right. Nice and slow, and then you compare the opposite side, nice and slow. Now, if at any point in time you feel there's a lot of stretch sensation causing compensation, you can simply hold the position and go into it just like this, nice and slow. I call this thin slicing. So I get a nice, soft, elastic bounce. That's not to be confused with ballistic bouncing. It's very, very different. Now I'll show you the same side rotational mobilization, where I take my right foot, I open up, and as you'll see with my hands, I'm actually turning at the pelvis, and then return. Open up, turn, and come back. Now you'll see a knee migration inward. That is a normal reaction. All you would have to do is watch a clip on ESPN or watch people around the playground. The knee moves in, but the key is it has to happen in sequence. So for example, if my foot opens up and my knee comes in and my foot stays still, that would not be good. But what I did, as I came around, my foot actually flattens and helps the stability along this part of the chain. Now, if a person has a structurally rigid foot, the foot that never collapses into the ground, you may have to take this horizontal displacement and shorten it relative to their individuality. So once again, the rotation plane. Now adding the hands. We're going to go through the same sequence, but I'm going to add the hands out as far as possible. And then return. Think of your shoulder blades moving out and back. Out, return, rotation, return. Now I can do it the left side. Out, return, out, return, out, return. So this is our common lunge with reach mobilization technique that falls in the more global dynamic category. If you find certain angles to be a little bit too restrictive, you can go back to our more localized version of mobilization, such as in the hip complex. We hope you've enjoyed this clip and look forward to seeing you with our other clips.